Welcome to Amberg Acres. So I've been busy this week. I'm trying to get all these big logs sawed up here. This is my first 30 plus, I should say, log. All right. So if I measure this log, bark to bark, I'm at 33 inches. So let's talk about the issues I'm having, okay? When Jacob asked me about the saws, I sent Woodland Mills an email asking them what would be better, and I told them what size logs I had here. And after these big ones here, most of my trees, except for them two big oaks back there that are dead, most of my trees are under the 29 inches, okay? So that's how we arrived at the 130 max. So the dimensions the guy sent me, and I'll see if I can put a snapshot of it on the video here. The dimensions he gave me was from the bunk to the blade at the highest point that the saw can travel would be 26 inches. So you take the 26 inches and then there's 7 inches of blade clearance, which they do have, 7 inches of blade clearance, gives you 33 inches. So I thought, okay, you know, 33 inches, we're going to be close, okay? So the other dimension you got to worry about is the width here. So that measures between the posts. Between the posts, it measures 38 inches. So a 34 inch, as long as it's somewhat straight. Where I have the issue are all these knobs, okay? So a 34 inch log, technically, should almost fit on there, okay? 33 would be the dimension, but you know, 34, if you lay it the right way, they're never round, perfectly round. So if you lay it the right way, put your 34 sideways and your whatever the other dimensions, say it's 32 the other way, you should be okay. You should be able to saw it. So here's the other issue that I have. So they tell you they have a 7 inch throat clearance, but look at this. So I'm hoping you can see this. The blade went through and the head cleared, but as you come, bam, okay? So you do not have a 7 inch clearance. You have about I think I figured it out, it's about 5 inches of clearance. So you take your 26 inches plus 5 inches, now you're down to 31 inches. So the print they sent me is deceiving, to say the least. Now this one worked out because I put the big knob down here on this end, so the blade already passed. I'll have to take the chainsaw now and cut this here, all right? And then I can get this knob off of here and I can slide the rest of that off. But those are the things you got to look for. You know, I went strictly by his dimensions that he gave me, and this is the issue I'm having. Now this one here cleared this way, but when I get to the other side, when I flip it, I am just under 32 inches here. So it should work. I should be able to cut that. As long as I don't have any knobs sticking out the top. And if I have knobs, then I got to cut them off with the chainsaw, which is getting me irritated because I feel like I'm spinning my wheels all the time. So you can see here, I cut off these knobs, all right, because they were sticking out and they would hit the rails, the bunks, or whatever you want to call them. But this one threw me here. This missed dimension here kind of threw me. This log isn't so bad. I only got to cut it once. but the last log I had a bunch of knobs on it. So basically I was getting about, what is that, about 1.5 feet? 21 to 22 inches about. And then I had to stop the saw and I pound a wedge in there, back the saw out so that I could get the chainsaw and cut this off so I could get rid of this knob, you know? And then I could go a little further until I hit the next knob, you know? And that was the issue I was having with the last log. And that log technically only measured 29 inches on the end. But with all them knobs, you know, I'm obviously it was over 29 inches at some point, right? In the middle. So that's one of the issues I'm having. And it is what it is, like I always say. It's what you got to work with, you know, to do this kind of stuff. Now obviously this is a 30-inch max. That's what it's called, right? A 30-inch max. So I'm a little over the max, so this is what I have to expect because I'm trying to cut something bigger than what it was meant for. But their print they sent me, their dimension they gave me is incorrect. And I am going to take some pictures here and I am going to send them to them. And hopefully they will correct this on future models because you don't have seven inches of clearance when your head is at the top. Once I come down, so now my next cut, I'm going to take a 6-inch slab out of here. Let me show you these slabs over here that I cut already. So I cut all these slabs. I'm cutting them at 6 inches. And these are going to be 2x6s for framing in the inside of the pole barn. So once I get there and I'm cutting at 6 inches, I'm down, my head is down lower, and then it clears that back section. Because that back section is stationary where the crank handle and the hour meter is attached to this sawmill. That plate and that handle is stationary. It doesn't move. Your head is moving. So it's when the head is all the way in the up position, you do not have the 7-inch clearance, you only have 5-inch. So these are going to be cut down, like I say, 2x6s for framing out the inside of the building. So I basically, my blade is getting dull, so I'm cutting all the bark off basically with the dull blade. And they're a little wavy, you know, but I left them big. I left them at 6 inches, and then we're going to put on a new blade, and then we're going to cut them at right to 1.5 inches because I'm using them for studs. So if they shrink a little bit, it doesn't matter. But then I left the 6 inches, I left it big on the 6-inch side, so we can take them and we can stand them all up once we have them cut and they dry for till next summer. We can stand them up and we can take a 1/4 inch off of one side, flip them over, take a 1/4 inch off, and get to our 5.5 dimension before we start building the walls. And that's how we're doing it. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of ways to do it. Nobody has really been able to tell me how much a board will shrink. So with that being said, I'm not gonna try and figure it out. I'm just gonna cut them big and we'll mill them after they sat for a year. Not quite. I don't know. We'll see what right now we're getting quotes for concrete and stuff. So that all of that's got to get done before I even start putting up walls in there or anything. So until that gets done, I'm not really worried about it, you know. But I'm thinking late next summer, maybe next fall. So that'll be 9 months, you know, from now. So we'll get this all sawed up in this video here after I get these other logs squared up. And we're just gonna keep cutting. I'm gonna get it all cut up, stacked, stickered. I have all kinds of slabs all of a sudden that I've never had before. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these slabs, but I'll figure something out. So with that said, I'm going to cut that knob off of there, and we're going to get that saw out from where it's at, and we're going to keep going. So stay tuned. We're going to flip this log in a little bit. So here is the other problem I've been having. So, and I understand this log is bigger than what it's supposed to be on the mill. But when you have these knobs, okay, so I want to come down at least another 2 inches here and take another cut. So these knobs like this here, I can't come down 2 inches because my guide is going to hit. So I got to take the chainsaw and I got to kind of I got to kind of just notch that out of there with the chainsaw. It'll clear here and it'll clear over here, but it won't clear these two knobs. So I got to kind of take that and take the chainsaw and just take a little cut out of there so that that blade guide will fit. And you can shift the log a little bit, and I have it pretty much centered right now. I can't really go that way or I'll have the issue on that side. So this is what I'm up against, and that's why it's taking so long for these big logs. Now once I'm through these big logs, I don't have any others this big. So it's gonna be a day or two here of me messing around with these big logs, and then once I'm through them, that's gonna be it. All right, so I'm gonna take the chainsaw, I'm gonna get this knob off of here so I can continue. All right, I got these cut off, and you only gotta cut it down far enough for that to clear. And then when you roll it over, you might have to cut it again, because you know, you don't know what your next, if it's high enough, or if it's too high for the clearance, you know, you're gonna hit it again that way. But for right now, I just cut it down about 3 inches there. And my question is, how many of you know that a chainsaw blade is basically made for cross cutting? Okay, now you probably know this about normal saws, like the old hand saws that guys used to use to cut boards. There's a cross cut saw, and then there's a ripping saw. Okay, that's two different pitches, or I don't know if it's the pitch of the blade of the teeth, or if it's the way the teeth are shaped, or what makes the difference. But there's a cross cut and a ripping, and it's the same thing with a chainsaw. Okay, I just sharpened my saw this morning, so I know it's cutting pretty good. It's never great. I'm missing 3 teeth on that chain from hitting stuff, but it cuts good. When I'm cutting in my logging cart, it pretty much goes right through, you know. But I'm cross cutting. I'm cutting this way into the log. All right. So when you come and try cutting these knobs off, you're actually cutting. You're actually rip sawing along the grain, and the chainsaw cuts terribly. Okay. So I don't know if you knew that. I'm just sharing that with you. I've known that for some time. You know that you can't cut a log the long way. All right, it cuts terribly with a regular chain. So there are chains out there that you can buy. Those guys that use them Alaskan sawmills and stuff, they have a special chain on their chainsaw that makes it cut. You can't use a regular chain. It will not. I mean, it'll cut a little bit, but it won't cut very well. Okay. So we got this notched off. So let's see how much clearance we got here now. Yeah, we should easily get another 2 inches there. Yep, I think we'll make her. I think we'll make her. So let's get the mill fired up. We'll drop her 2 inches and let her rip. So you remember in one of the last videos how I said I was so impressed at how easy that thing pushes and cuts through these logs. And it did with a sharp blade. Once the blade starts getting dull, I'm pushing pretty hard now to get through this, but it's okay. It's just slabs we're taking off. We're taking off all the bark. And then once I got all the bark, I'm gonna switch to a new blade before I cut all them 2x6s. And those will be nice and straight then and flat. And they'll be cut real nice with a new blade on there. So, all right, let me get this slab off of here and park it somewhere. After I get that slab off, then we're gonna flip the log, cut the other side. Let me show you the other end of this log here quick. So that other end looked pretty good, or halfway decent, until you got down by the pith. But now here you can see how this is all rotten in the inside. So what I wanted to do, I'd love to just take a 6-inch cut here and just take that slab off and then mill it, you know, into 2x6s. But I can't, because as soon as I get down this far, I'm going to start hitting all these knobs. So I'm going to have to flip it. I'll square up this side. This side is pretty down here. It's pretty much junk, I think. Then I will stand it up and I will try and take a 6 here, hopefully, and a 6 here, maybe. And then maybe I can flip it back and take that 6 out of here. I don't know. Don't know until I do it. So that log is definitely getting lighter as we go. But here's what we have to look for. So I have plenty of clearance on this side, but this side I'm going to hit right away. So I have to shift the log over. So to do that, I have to move some of my clamps. Well, that don't look too bad. I think we'll clear on both sides now, and we might have some issues on the guides there as we get down a little bit. But we're gonna take off as much as we can on this side to get rid of some of this dead stuff on top here, just so we got a good flat surface to sit on. I really don't think with a log this size that those clamps are doing anything. But I put them on anyhow. So this is the problem I've been running into with these bigger logs now. Now that I stand this up, I got a big knob under here, and that's keeping the log, you know, not sitting that straight. But I'm at my highest point right now, so I can probably clear this here, but I can't clear any of this up here. So I gotta basically take the chainsaw from about here and go straight across and cut that all off. So that's the issue I've been running into. That's why it's taking me so long to cut these logs. And once I get this side done, then the other side is easy. But this side here is gonna be, you know, I gotta take that off of there in order for that head to clear. And then once I got that off, then I can start cutting. So I'll be back in a little bit once I get that all cut off. So that took me a good hour and a half to take that off of there. So now that I got that off, I should be able to continue this cut all the way down. So now I cleared the black handle, but I can't clear this piece right here. It's only 5 inches clearance there when I'm at the top, and when I'm at the top of the stroke for this saw. So I gotta take back up a little bit and cut that notch off, and then that whole piece will slide off of there. Okay, I notched that piece off now, and I'm probably gonna hit here again, but I'll be all the way up to here, so I should only have to do one more and I should be out of this. Well, not quite. I'm about 2 inches from the end. So, all right, I'll get this piece off here and then we'll flip it and we'll start over. I don't know, maybe I can get another cut out of this side here, but we'll see. All right, so after taking that cut there and I cleaned this edge up so it's flat, I determined it's not worth my time trying to cut here, that I'm better off flipping it up and trying to take a 6 right here, and this little bit here might get in there, but I should be able to get a bunch of boards out of this right here, and then possibly one down here, but I want to get a good 6 is what I'm really shooting for. So I'm thinking that's right here, down right here, right next to, off of that bad area there, will be my best bet for getting a 6 inches out of that log. I knew this one was rotten, and I knew it was going to be a struggle, but I wanted to try this one before I put the good one up there. I have a good one sitting over there that's perfectly straight, and it's 30 something inches. So I'm hoping that one will go better because it doesn't have all the knobs on it. It was the straight section of the trunk. So I'm hoping that one goes a little better, but we'll see when we get it up here. I just wanted to try this one first. So if I really don't get much out of this one, you know, like I say, it is what it is. But I'm learning as I go here. I'm learning what I can do. I'm thinking if I was going to recommend this saw to somebody, I would tell them 28 inches is your top log, you know, unless it's perfectly straight. Then you can get a 30 up here, but the way these are all lumpy and whatever, it's not working real well. So either that or have somebody with one of those, like I say, that Alaskan sawmill or whatever it's called. Have somebody with the right pitch blade that can cut the long way decent with a chainsaw, come and, you know, roughly square up the log for you, take some of them lumps and all that stuff off of there first. I don't have that type of setup, so I'm kind of struggling here without it. And I don't know that I want to get it because rest of my trees should all fit on this saw. So I'm just struggling through these 2 big ones. Actually, I got 3 big ones. I got another 34-inch one down towards the road there, that tree that Merv cut. I've cut all the top sections. I was able to get all the top sections, but that bottom section is 34 inches. So I think I'm going to be struggling with that one too. And I can't lift it. It's at 13 feet right now and I can't lift it. So I guess I'll cut it down to 8 and get it up here and see if I can lift it to get it up here. That one's pretty green yet. I just cut that the other day. I cut that trunk down. So it's pretty green yet. It's pretty heavy. All right, I'm gonna get this all flipped and squared up and see what I can get out of this log. And I'll be back with you, I think tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna put that other big one up here, and that one's in nice shape. So I should be able to show you, you know, some nice boards coming out of that one. So stay tuned. All right, so we're gonna change things up today. I was gonna cut that other big round over there, the other big white pine, but I ran out of gas for my chainsaw, and I got gas, but I don't have the oil, and I don't feel like running anywhere right now to go get it. Okay, so I'm gonna change blades, and I'm gonna put these cants up here, and we're just gonna slice boards today, and either later this afternoon when I'm done working, or tomorrow morning I'll run down and get some oil so I can finish up the stuff with the chainsaw. But what I wanted to show you was one of the features on this saw here that make it easy to use is the ease of changing this blade. So you got 3 clips, 2 on the bottom here, 1 on top, and then just a screw in the middle here. that's it. You're at the blade. So it's that easy to get at it. So then you have to take your adjustment, your tension off over here. The tension is just a big screw here, and you back it off until it's loose, and I just give it a little push, and that moves the pulley. So I'm going to clean this out here a little bit, get my putty knife. So the other thing you got to take off is you got to take off this blade guard here. And then the blade should pop right off of there. Now what I'm noticing too is there's a little buildup on this belt. Now I don't know if that's normal or if it's just because it's this white pine that's all gooey. So I really don't know. So then you got to snug up the tensioner again. Now I don't go full tight. I just snug it up until it gets snug, and then I spin the wheels a little bit. Want to make sure the blade tracks correctly. Looks like it's in your guides and everything right. This guy goes back on then. Problem with these knobs is they always end up on the ground, no matter where I put them. Okay, that's it. It's that easy. Close this door first. Get your bottom latch on. It's really that easy. And then I just gotta set the tension now. Now they have on there from snug you go 2.5 to 3 turns. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But there's like a bushing there, and that bushing is almost just flush, you know. The bushing gets flush at about 3 turns. So that's how I set it up. So we're gonna get these boards, these 6-inch cants on here, and get sawn. I have to say this much: these things are not light. Just trying to slide them around, they weigh a ton. So now I don't know, you probably can't see it on the camera real well. Let's take a look at these here. So when the blade starts getting dull, it starts cutting a wave, okay? So every time you hit either a knot, it dives or goes up. So right here, there's something right here in this log that made it go up, or right here made it go down, you know, and they start getting all wavy like this here. So that's why I leave extra on. I have these cut to 6 inches, okay? So they're 6 inches wide. So later on I can come back and I can cut them to 5.5, okay? Once they dry up a little bit, because I don't know how much they're gonna shrink. So I left extra on. The 5.5 is what's gonna matter when I'm building with them. The 1.5 inches isn't gonna matter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little skim cut here and try and get with this new blade and try and get this straight again. And then I'll just start going 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and get my pieces cut. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do here. And it's the easiest way I know how to do this to get these cut. So what I'm gonna do is I have the pith right here in about the middle. Right, you can see it right here. Okay, so I'm gonna come down to about 3 inches above that pith, and then I'm gonna go below it 3 inches, and I'm gonna get myself a 6x6, 3 6x6s also out of these boards here, these cans. So now you should be able to see how nice and straight that is. With that new blade, it cuts beautiful, so that's nice and straight. So now we're just going to drop down 1.5 inches and start slicing our 2x6s. They are at exactly 1.5 inches. We'll see what they end up at once they dry. Those are as nice a board as you're going to see even at Menards or anywhere else. Those are beautiful boards. Shouldn't have any issue building anything you want with them. Alright, so what did we end up with? That was the 29-inch log from yesterday. So I got 27 2x6s and I got 3 6x6s. So that's pretty good. I don't know what a 2x6 is going for nowadays. $8 so times 27. So a 2x6 by 8 at Menards is $5.35. So times 27, that's $144 worth of wood right there. And then the 6x6s, so the 6x6 by 8 feet is $20.59. So that comes out to almost $62 for three 6x6s. So you're looking at $200 worth of lumber out of that one log. And my time, but I'm retired, so my time is my time. I can do whatever the heck I want, right? So that's what you get out of one log. We got a couple of slabs. We got a bunch of slabs. I don't know what those are worth, if they're worth anything or not. I have some ideas of what to do with them, but so we have those slabs. So basically you get out of those logs, because those logs were fairly round, I was getting 2 slabs out of each one, and the rest was going in a firewood pile. So that's pretty good, I think. And the price of wood right now, if you haven't noticed, is back down. Whether or not it's going to stay there, I don't know. But if you would compare this to prices just 2 years ago, it was crazy what they wanted for a 2x4, So we'll see what happens in the future with the lumber prices. What bothers me is, all the housing, building a house and everything went up so high because they all claimed the lumber prices were so high. Lumber prices are so high. Well, now the lumber prices are low, and I don't see the price of that house coming down any. I bet you any money I can go down here and ask the guy how much my house is going to cost that I want to build, and he's going to tell me the same price he told me 2 years ago. I'm just saying, All right. So we're going to get the next batch up here. The next two came off of that rotten log we milled up yesterday. So let's look at my pile over here. I can tell you exactly what I got. So I got a 6-inch cant and a 4-inch cant off of that rotten log. Some of those are not going to be very good, okay? But I'll get a few boards out of it. So and this was another one that was probably, I don't know, 20 some inches in diameter. So I got 3 6-inch cants, and then this was that first log I put up there. That was I got 3 6s and a 4 out of it, and that was almost a 30-inch log too, if I remember correctly. It was pretty close to 30 inches. It was a little egg shaped, so it mills up different when it's egg shaped like that, But as you can see, these are quite a bit wider. So I'm getting 1, 2, 3, almost three more boards out of that one than I am going to get out of this one, Just the way it is, it's just the size of the log. So we're going to get these up next. We're going to get going on that. Well, I missed my 6-inch mark, so I just kept going, and it didn't matter because I had a 2x4, the 4-inch one So I just made these all boards. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 2x6s and 6 2x4s out of that log. So, all right, we're gonna keep cutting on these. I don't know if I'll get to it today yet, but that big one is gonna go on the mill here yet in this video. And we're gonna try slicing her up. So, stay tuned. Okay guys, I hope you can see this. This is what a quarter sawn white pine 2x4 looks like. So the grain is going this way. And then if you look at the face of it, the grains are running this way. Now you don't get the raise like you get on an oak or something like that, but that's quarter sawn. That's when they talk about quarter sawn, that's what that looks like. Compared to, let me go grab a different one and see if I can show you the opposite of that. I believe the term for this one is back sawn. Here's my pith, and then the rings are going like this in an arc. Okay, this one was cut right at the center of a board. But then if you look at the surface of it, see how the grain is flat? You're seeing the saw cut through the flat part of the log, compared to this, where the grains are all perfectly straight. Quarter sawn, back sawn. Either one will work for what I'm doing. I just got lucky where this 4-inch cant came out of the log. It made some beautiful quarter sawn 2x4s. But this is just as good for what I'm going to be using them for. But when people get into oak sawing, they like the quarter sawn oak because it gets these little rays in there, and that's for cabinet makers and that type of stuff. So that's why people like quarter sawn oak, because it's a really pretty wood. Where for the white pine, it really, to me, it doesn't matter, you know. All right, guys, the moment you've all been waiting for isn't going to happen because I can't lift this log. So I cut it down to 8.5 feet over there. I took about I don't know, 3 feet off. I think it was close to 12 feet when I started with it. So right now I am at just a little under 8.5 feet. So the boards I'm looking to get out of this really are going to finish at 7 feet. My first, I'm going to put 2 stories in there. So my first story is going to be a 7-foot ceiling, and then if I'd use 6-inch floor joists, and then I would have a 6'6" ceiling for the upper section, which is just going to be an office for me, which is plenty good. I'm only 5'7", so I'd have a foot to spare up there. So if I take another foot off of that log, that would put me at 7 foot 6 inches. Is that going to be enough for me to lift it up on the mill? We're going to find out, because that's what I'm going to do. All right, I am at about 7.5 feet right now. I think I can lift it. I think it's going to go. So keep watching here. Well, it's up there, so I don't know, what do you think? It's a straight log. It doesn't have all the knobs on it like those other ones did. So I'm thinking I might be able to get this. So I'm gonna putz with it here for a little bit, and I will turn the camera back on when I think I got it figured out. That's a big log. So with a little bit of persuasion, I should be able to take my first cut. I'm right about here. That's where I'm gonna have to cut it off. That's as high as I can go. So, I mean, the only way to make it higher would be to take these bunks off and actually set it right in your track, which you don't want to do. But that would be the only way. That would be the only way you could saw that, possibly, the way it is. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna start it up. Try taking a quick cut. But I gotta fill it up with gas quick. So hang on a second. There's one chunk. Cut number 2. Cut number 3. These would have been nice logs to cut some slabs out of, but I can't do it because I can't get high enough, so it's not going to work out. And I can't take another one down because I'm scraping the bark right now with those guides. So one, looks like I gotta do two more cuts here yet. That was cut number 4. I should be able to get the rest of the way through now. So the question is, can I cut a 34-inch diameter log on a Woodland Mills HM130 Max? And the answer is very carefully. So I got through it, okay? Took a little bit of work, a little bit of ingenuity. I cannot get another slab. It would be nice to get a nice 2-inch slab out of here, but I can't do it because the guides are hitting. So, and if I go and sit here and cut away at this, then it kind of ruins the live edge, you know, of the slab. So now though, when we flip it over, you know, we took, what did we take off? Good 6 inches off of here. So now when we flip it over, as long as we get it centered, we should be able to take at least 1 or 2 slabs here off of this side. So that's what we're going to try and do. So give me a few minutes here to flip this over, and it's getting lighter, so it's going to be easier to move now. Yeah, let's flip it over and we'll cut the other side. There's just a few bugs underneath that bark. What do you think? Should I save them for lunch? I don't think so. Now that I peeled that bark off, I might be able to get a 2-inch slab out of there. Well, I got one off. I might be able to get a second one out of there. That would even us up with the bottom then. All right, so I got 2 very nice clean slabs off of that side. Would have been nice to get them off the other side, but just can't do it. This is really nice looking wood. There's a couple of wormholes up here at the edge, but the middle of it's beautifully clean. All right, so we're gonna set it up. I think we're gonna put the side I took the bark off down, and then we'll see what we can get off of this end, you know. All right, so here's my next problem. Just because I can get the log up there, 35 inches. So looking at that saw, I almost got to get this much off of there with the chainsaw in order to cut this log the way I have it. So I don't know, you know, it's I guess my opinion on it is it's more work than it's worth. If the logs are over 30 inches, probably you should just leave them in the woods, you know, because it's more work than it's worth trying to do it on a smaller sawmill. So I'll get back to you after I get that cut off of there. Probably be a couple hours. All right, so I gave up on that other log. I went in and ordered a ripping chain for my chainsaw. So when that comes in, I will cut that. It just, the regular chain just does not cut very well going that direction. And it's too much to cut. So I threw this next one up. These are a lot smaller. These will go like nothing. I'll just zing a few slabs off and then square up some cants. When I get back to that other log, I will make another video finishing up that log, because that has some really nice wood in it. I mean, except for a little bit on the outside where the worms are in there, the rest of that log looks pretty solid. So it's a good log. So we'll just leave that for another video. So if you like my videos, you know, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I will catch you when I get that fixed. All right, later.